Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the mini channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that I actually been putting off for so long. You guys have no idea how long I've been delaying this video for forever now. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Shin Megami Tensei and Persona have an interesting relationship with each other. I'll say almost kind of like a cousin, distant cousin relationship kind of thing. Shin Megami Tensei despawned Shin Megami Tensei Eve, who eventually created Persona or the Persona series, so it does come with that kind of territory there. So today we're going to talk about things that I want to see into Shin Megami Tensei, from Shin Megami Tensei into Persona 6 or the Persona series as a whole, and just going to talk about this now. A lot of the things about these two series are significantly different, so I don't want to sit here and act kind of like the two series are just very different to anything. There's actually a lot of similarities between the two of them, but also there's a lot of things that are different. So we have to acknowledge both of these. You have to acknowledge that there are a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences here. So all to begin with and everything, I think one of the biggest thing is the gameplay difficulty in Shin Megami Tensei is typically a little bit challenging or more challenging than something like Persona 5. Now, one of the things I do want is a little bit more of balancing when it comes to the difficulty in Persona. Persona 5 Royal particularly had a lot of issues when it came to the difficulty, not because it was hard, but because at some parts the game was almost too easy. In fact, I felt like it almost had like too many elements that made the game just out of balance, if you know what I mean. Shin Megami Tensei, on the other hand, can be out of balance for different reasons, but I'm not going to discuss here. But I do feel that the gameplay overall just feels more natural progression, more balancing and everything. And Persona, I don't know whether they did this because they wanted to get new people into the game or anything like that. And I'm not saying the game necessarily needs to be harder, but I do feel that the balancing in the game needs to be more adequate to what Persona for Shin Megami Tensei. For example, again, if you play the game on again Persona 5, if you play the Persona game, Persona 5 Royal, and you cannot get that merciless difficulty, you start seeing that there's actually a lot of issues with that. I don't know where this went wrong, but it just really feels kind of off a little bit. Again, I really want them to kind of work this through because it is a great game, but I do feel like there's some issues with that particularly. So moving into another aspect of it, I would like to kind of be able to modify the stats for characters, not only just for yourself or for the different characters. This is a commonly used thing in Shin Megami Tensei. Every time that you level up, you get stats, and you get to level up your stats as you wish. One of the biggest things is Persona users get a persona, and the persona kind of levels up as it goes. Every persona has different stats, and they kind of so the computer automatically allows you to level up those stats, and it kind of designates where those stats are going. I really wish that you could kind of manually edit those stats. I know it's like a little weird complaint thing, but I really actually kind of like to have control over my own characters and kind of be able to edit where I want the stats to go to or anything. Obviously, this is another kind of like another difference between the two series, but Persona just kind of feels like almost like they don't want you to mess with the stats, although when they do, they just allow you to break the game completely. For example, Persona 4 is really famous for that, or even Persona 5 in a sense, because it does allow you to they have so many modifiers for you to increase the stats and everything like that, which is almost like, why don't you just let me control the stats from the beginning instead of just adding these additional modifiers for that. That's one of those things again that I would like to see a little bit in a different sense. Now, another one that I want to see, speaking of modifiers, is the actual kind of almost like a skill tree. Shin Megami Tensei 4 did this really good with Boros, where you kind of had this additional additional bonuses that you could get, whether it's like leveling up faster, or your character gains more abilities, or even your demons gain additional abilities or mutate their abilities. There's all these different crazy quirks that the Boros system had that I actually really enjoyed. Persona doesn't really have anything like that. You just kind of focus on the balancing between the day life and obviously doing your Phantom Thief stuff, activities or whatever. But you don't really have like a thing like that. And I kind of want something like that because again, it really worked for me on Shin Megami Tensei 4. So I really want something like that on Persona. Now, I do want to mention this because I feel like it's an interesting point. Persona 5 Strikers actually had something similar to that. They added this system where you can kind of add these additional bonuses, which is the bonds. We actually that's kind of what I want on Persona. Actually, that was a good point. That's actually pretty cool. By the end, when you get to level 99, you're the total badass. All of your additional bonuses that you get and everything like that, it is something really awesome. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. And my last point is just kind of shift on tone. Not particularly the game itself needs to be dark or anything like that, but I do like a lot of the emphasis in the psychology and the philosophy of Shin Megami Tensei because it is more mature and it does attempt to ask more interesting questions. Now, Persona 5, for example, and I'm just gonna talk about Persona 5 particularly, it does kind of focus more on like that justice, moral, gray area a little bit, but it doesn't really go all the way with it. I feel like it's kind of in that sense of kind of like, should we do this, should we not do this kind of thing. But Shin Megami Tensei really just goes all the way with that, and it just really kind of captures the essence of like a morally gray area game, opposed to Persona 5 where it kind of starts to touch into that, but it doesn't. It's kind of almost hesitant to really touch the subjects. Persona 5 Strikers, for example, really does kind of touch a lot of that, like, wow, well, is the bad guy really right or wrong kind of thing. But in reality, it just kind of makes you feel awkward about it, opposed to Persona 6, opposed to Shin Megami Tensei, where it not only do they touch it, it really goes all the way through, especially with that system that they have, whether it's doing chaos or law or something in between that. It really just kind of allows the player to have more agency as far as like what the morally gray area looks like. That is a really interesting aspect of the game itself. I'm not saying that it necessarily needs like a moral compass kind of thing, but I do like the way that they do it. Now, another game that actually does it pretty well as well is Catherine. The Catherine games has a meter as well, whether it ranges from evil to good or whatever you want to call it like that, and a lot of your decisions or even random questions that you talk to from people changes that meter up and down. And it's just kind of crazy because seeing all the different endings that you can get based on your decisions. The decision making in Catherine is actually pretty cool. I actually love all the different stuff. I even talked about how I wanted that more for the next Shin Megami Tensei game, but I feel like it actually could work for Persona as well, especially with the amount of questions and things that you do in the game. Being able to kind of go over more of the moral gray area and kind of really dig deep into it will be an interesting point. Now, I'm not saying that we need to completely have a shift on tone or anything like that, but a lot of these things kind of go hand in hand with that. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here today, guys. Just talking about Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, two of my favorite series here. Let me know in the comments below, what do you want from this series moving forward? Persona or Shin Megami Tensei? Is there something particularly that you're looking into? Any things that you're looking to change or maybe do different? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.